What's up guys, this is Sean. Welcome back to the iherng podcast, and today we will answer a question from email. This is from G. Hi Sean, this is actually a dispute and disagreement between me and my joint purchaser, which is my ex. When we are still together, we bought a property at Puncak Alam. S&P is about 738,000, got discount, paid down payment about 22,000. Initial purchase purpose is for own stay, so we accept its relatively higher price compared to the project nearby. Here is the problem. We broke up. Own stay is now impossible. So the exit strategy is number 1, to sell, or number 2, to rent out now, sell later. My ex message is to use the property as an investment. 5 years later, we will sell the house and we can share either the gain or loss. Of course, if you are just like last time, very shallow-minded, your only purpose is to clearly draw a boundary between me and you, I also okay. But in that case, I will not share the interest or penalty with you. Wah, dramanya. Rental of an unfurnished unit is about 1,500 to 1,700. But my point of view is wanting to sell as soon as possible for a few reasons. Number 1, we broke up in a non-peaceful manner. Hence, if rent out, even if have property agent to find tenant, still need our effort in responding to special requests such as early move-in request of furniture whenever we do have different ideas, it's very hard to come to an agreement. Number 2, further, any bad consequences happen, then they blame the idea of the contributor. No tolerance at all. Number 3, after the tenant move in, who will be the main person in charge to face the tenant? If I'm the person, I will feel imbalanced. Why do I need to spend more time responding to the tenant, but rental income shares equally, vice versa? So I would like to get your opinion on whether selling this property is the ideal way from an investment point of view. The market price now is about 650,000. Bank mortgage loan balance is about 656,000. I understand if I sell now, current borrower will need to pay the deficit to the bank for mortgage loan deficit of 6,000. And for legal fees, I budgeted about 10,000 ringgit. I don't foresee in 2 to 5 years time, this project price will increase to more than the S&P price of 738,000. Not even net purchase price of 686,000. A few reasons. I have a friend who is staying at the earlier phase of the same project. The market price now is still the same as his S&P price after 5 years. Number 2, development stage as Puncak Alam is very slow. It might be the second Setia Alam, but probably in 10 more years. Would clarify, if sell at loss, there would be no RPGT, right? I should compare selling price to gross S&P price or net purchase price. I see the ROI is totally negative. 长痛不如短痛. It means here, instead of long pain, might as well choose the short pain. I strongly don't want to maintain this unprofitable investment some more with the joint partner that cannot communicate. If with your sell now advice, I assume, with the Excel calculation I created, I will compile and invite a mutual known property agent, discuss based on the real fact. Excel provides total cash inflow and outflow without considering the time value of money for both exit strategy. Both of us are accounting background people, so I wish to use data to talk. Hope the concept and formula in Excel sheet is correct and understandable for Sean. Feel free to change or share your thoughts. I'll amend and think myself later. Furthermore, this might not be suitable to put into your YouTube. Actually, I'm fine to share to public because it's really a lesson. Never join name applying loan and buying asset. If my ex still insists don't want to sell this property, probably due to her expecting the property price to go up, or just because it's my ex don't want to share the incidental legal fees. I may proceed with the legal procedures where I've identified that there is a way for me to forcefully pull out away from this joint ownership. I may proceed with legal procedures where I've identified there is a way for me to forcefully pull away from this joint ownership. I understand I need to pay legal fees for my own costs. I will consider carefully. Anyhow, I still feel I will lose lesser compared to step into a few more years of tedious tenancy agreements. I don't see this investment is worth for me to bet my next 2 to 5 years. Feel free to correct me if I express my opinion too emotionally just to escape from this harsh relationship and unprofitable investment. Thank you. Within the Excel sheet, it's just a tabulation of every month. It's basically the interest payment versus the principal paid for every month's mortgage payment. Okay, I am so sorry, Mr. G, for your breakup. I still remember I think this was a topic that's pretty hot 5 years ago. We discussed about this. I think before my kid actually came out. The moral of the story, never share name or never join name for a property with your wife-to-be ke, girlfriend ke, boyfriend ke, whatever lah. It's just a very, very terrible setup for any home purchase. Again, property, we look at it as a pure investment tool. And in that mode, in that mindset, it's all about numbers, right? ROI can make it or not? Is the price higher than the median or not? From the various buying channel, which one can we go for the best ideal marketing package and things like that lah. So we will try our best to get the best deal in the market. But if it's for own stay, suddenly the emotional part kick in, right? Yeah, you see, this is the result lah. And the weirdest thing is they know it's above the market price. Then they don't look at ROI already because it's for own stay ma. They don't look at rental yield at all. They will think about, oh, this is how we're going to retire, this is how we're going to grow up, going to build the family. During Haraya, we can come here and celebrate with the friends and things like that. It's all so nice until the relationship couldn't even last longer than the construction period. Pretty obvious from the story. Even if like now, Sean, we are very lovely, we know each other from 10, now we are 28, we want to get married, we really know that this is the deal to move forward. Can. If it's so close, may I suggest to only put one person's name? Because if you put two persons' name, that's the trick of a dream home trap. That is why a lot of young couples cannot afford properties. Because what's a dream home? Regardless of whatever property type, whatever location, right? The price needs to be somewhat painful enough in order to justify the status of a dream home. If it's too easily affordable, right? Chincai, just get one, right? And move in, right? You don't love me enough, is it? Why you just chincai settle for one? So even if you can only qualify for maybe 600,000, it must be stretched to 700 lah, 800 lah, to a level where what's the solution moving forward? Join name lah. All agents, all salesperson will ask you to join name one. That's the trap. So to move forward by joining name, right, it clearly means you cannot afford either one of you. May I suggest to just consider renting first? If cannot afford the property together, renting is not too bad. Actually, you got more value for money. Because now, this is a clear example of a theory that I pushed through all this while. The property is about 700 to 800 over 1,000. And the monthly rent is only 1,500 to 1,008. What does it mean? Okay, it means to rent that house has more value than owning it. Then what's the strategy that we should adopt? We should buy Bangsa South, which is about 400 to 500,000, get a rental rate of about 6.2 to 7%, where the rent can cover the money installment. Each of you buy one, so now you are both investor already. Then you move in together and rent a house to build your family. If you don't like each other, you cannot tahan each other, just terminate the tenancy agreement. Right? That would be a better solution compared to the current situation of Mr. G. The weirdest thing is this, although both parties are accountants, logical, number-driven people, but just because I don't want to friend you, I hate you. No matter what you say, I don't want. No matter what you say, regardless of whether is it logical or not. So Mr. G here, I understand you are trying your best to justify using number, right? It's not going to work. No, it's not going to work. When you push the agenda, or we sell now lah, he will say, you purposely don't now? You really hate me that much? Is it? Want to clearly draw the line? Fine, I hate you. Then you want to hold, then you do the whole Excel sheet, right? To justify why sell now is better than holding in 5 years' time. That's not the problem. That's not the problem. The problem is you. Unfortunately, I don't know how to say this in a better way, but yeah, in this situation, you are the pain point. The other thing is this, when you consider selling, right, from an RBGT calculation point of view, the tax should be calculated on the value stated in the SPA. So it means if I sell the house at 730,000, Your SPA is 730,000. Did you make money? No, zero. So you don't have to pay RBGT at all. Of course, the other miscellaneous and legal fees and things like that. I'll put my lawyer friend's number here. He mainly prepares S&P and things like that. You can ask him for a quotation. Maybe ask for an iherng rate. I don't know whether he will give or not. He don't even know I'm doing this. So maybe just text him and ask for a quotation. You put out a budget of about 10,000. I think it's about there lah. It's about there. But a good thing is your bank loan balance is about 656,000. The market price now is about 650,000. So even if you sell at 650,000, right, you will still lose about 6,000. Then you plus legal fees about 16,000. Technically, you are preparing to marry this woman and build a family. Technically, you got some savings one, right? Even if she don't want to pay or share the cost, right, may I suggest you just proceed with that. It's the wiser choice. Like you say, 长痛不如短痛, right? Applies the same. You don't want to drag the property long, hoping that the property price will go up, so you make less loss or you profit a little bit. That's your ex punya perspective, ma. But you insist that just sell now so we don't have to suffer the consequences. We can move on with our life, build our own investment and relationship and whatever, right? The same applies to you, right? So because of this 16,000, you don't want to move forward. And that is, okay, this is me stereotyping a little bit. That's the common problem for people, especially professionals, right, who calculates way too much. Yeah, you're just being too calculative at times, right? Oh, it's not hitting. I asked for 6.1%. Now this is 5.9. No means no. Are you correct? Yes, you are absolutely right. It's absolutely your right to do whatever you want. For that, technically it's going to be like what? Another 6,000, right? For that 6,000, you need to hold the property with somebody that you can't even look at. And every time, like you say, you clearly state out the pain point, and I want to repeat again for the others who are listening, right? Dear young couples, listen to this, right? Even if they manage to rent out, they are quarreling about who to manage because they want the rent to be equally distributed. But one person do the work. Guess who is it? Not me. Both parties will think like that also. So even if you bring in a tenant, it's going to be a terrible operation. Then all conversation starts with ill intent. My whole focus is to catch something that you did wrong. That's all. You see why you choose one, you see why your body, you see why your hair like that, you see why your eye like that. Wow, I'm tired I thought about this. But technically, when you say that this property, well, in 5 years time you all want to break even or whatsoever, right? Like your friend who just moved in like 5 years ago, they already has a selling price of their S&P price and they are complaining, right? Which is absolutely wrong. So this is a concept also that we need to accept as an investor, right? If you're buying a property when it comes with heavy discounts, technically you are reaping the somewhat future money upfront. It was supposed to be 600,000 ma. Can you afford 10% down payment? Cannot ma. Can you afford all the lawyer fee, S&P, stamping, MOT, banking, valuation, all that adds up to 18%? It means for 600,000 property, you need to cough out 108,000. If you can, right? If you can cough out 108,000, the remaining you take loan, and you can break even and you will make money. Yes, that's the purest way of property investment, which is applied in a sub-sale state, right? Sub-sale, there's no such heavy discount. You can play around the SPA value lah. You can play about bank valuation and things like that to qualify for more loan. But if we just go the pure intention, I put 10%, 8% plus renovation just to gain ownership for this exact same property of your friends. It requires about 150,000 just for ownership for somebody else to move in. Do you carry such level of cash? Don't have, right? A lot of us, we got credit score, we can swipe card, right? But ask you to vomit out that amount of money in like 3 months time, tak boleh lah bro, tak boleh, tak ada cash. So the entire market for the past 7 years already at this point, they have been focusing on first-time home buyer. What's the problem of first-time home buyer? No cash, got credit. So the solution to that is discounts and rebates. And if you calculate back, in 5 years time, you make back whatever discount that was given, right? So it's about 8 to 9%. In 3 to 5 years time, I think it's solid already for a location that you deem not developing fast enough. And that's my point. You bought the property without that intention in the first place. And now you try to blame the property, the developer is not developing, the address is not happening enough. You chose one ma, based on all the mistakes that I made. The best way to move forward is to accept everything is by fault. I chose the property. I chose her as my girlfriend. I need to live with all the consequences. My fault, not her fault, not developer's fault, not agent's fault, whoever fault. My fault. And that will be the quickest way to get out of any trouble. For example, now, if you look into the comparison, for sure it's sell related, bro. I don't even need to look the Excel in detail, right, to justify. Even if, technically, if I were to hold, let's play the simulation, right? 5 years later, do you think the value of the property will go up? Yes. Do you think there will be people who wants to rent at that price that you said just now, about 1,500 or 1,008? Definitely. Is it going to be a pain of communication? Definitely. But you are going to have interest payments as well for that 5 years. If you calculate out, right, is it a better investment situation moving forward? Yes. But is it good for you? Definitely hell no. So my suggestion now, your fault, swallow that 16,000 that is required for this loss. And I think it's one of the best case scenario already. 16,000 is nothing, bro. Technically, for that peace of mind, for the empty slate to move forward, right? Take it. I don't know how much you got lah, bro. But yeah, I would take it. So that's for Mr. G. For opportunists, for property investors of the channel, this is where we get deals. You see where I'm going? There will be desperate sellers like this all the time. And it's our job to stay ready. How do we stay ready? First is to know how much you can qualify for loan. And that is what I do. I check my secrets and CTOS every single month, man. I won't fall into the trap like, hey bro, if you go into any sales gallery, right, you see something you like and they will pressure you, corner you into a level where, hey, you like, right? Test loan lah. Just test loan. Free one ma, no booking one ma. Or you just, okay lo, since I don't know how much I can qualify, I just test lo. And there goes lah. Suddenly, that's ready, then there will be future lines, future connection, you feel ingrained. Aiya, chinchay lah, just move on with the deal lah. Then you bought something that you don't even know why you buy in the first place. So by knowing how much you can loan all the time, your budget, you have this very clear mind whenever opportunity comes. And how people define luck is when opportunity meets preparation. Are you prepared? Sean, how do you look for deals, right, where suddenly your price so different? Must be because you're famous, must be because you're YouTuber. No, it's because I befriend with a lot of agents. That's the secret. This blog, if anyone want to release, if anyone want to let go at this price, I take. So people like Mr. G here, so once he gets the signal, okay lah, you know what, just sell, right? Agent, ding ding, okay, I got seller at this price already. Very desperate. Mr. Sean, I heard you want a property at this price, right? It's about 10 to 15% below the SPA, below the market median now. Do you want to try it out? Have a look lah. And if I know I can qualify for another 1.35 million, right? If I can qualify for that amount, I look at this one, totally in my budget ma. And the blind spot within this entire conversation is there's zero consideration at all to fully furnish the unit and rent it out. You know what? Let's just check. 3-bed, 3-bath unit is about 2009, like this one, right? Pretty solid. Then empty one is about 2000. This is a semi-D. I don't think it's a semi-D. I think it's a terrace house, but the front got courtyard house lah. So it's about 2003, 2008. And if you just scroll through, right? You just scroll through, you guys can do it yourself lah. Like you go to Property Guru and you scroll through Eco Grandiose unit, right? This is the path of least resistance. Every investor or old school property investor in this conversation, what they expect is I buy, hold, sell, make money. That's the best case scenario lah. I also want lah, but not in this market anymore because consumers, tenants, market is too smart already. Hear me out, right? If you go into the market right now when they buy, right, they just put it up for sale for rent, empty one. Who is going to move in a unit that is empty? No fan, no light, no curtain, nothing leh. You want me to move in how? Say, okay, so if I'm a tenant today, right? I buy everything, really, then move in, then 1 year, then you kick me out. Then what am I going to do with all the furnishings? Cannot be, ma. So the only way to at least entice me is dirt cheap rent. Dirt cheap rent, only I will consider meaning I can buffer, I divide my furnishings and furniture and fan or light, right? I divide by at least 36. I will take 3 years contract. So if I take 3 years contract, somewhat it will justify. And for you, okay lah, 3 years I don't have to think about tenancy lah, I will just bleed all the way lah. That's usually the case for most of the investor or owners. I don't call them investor at this point. So the debate is, bro, if I put in about 70,000 or 80,000 to beautify the unit, right? What if people want to buy leh? Is there some truth to that statement? Yes. But that should be something that you thought of when you buy, not after getting the keys. So I really can't wait for my unit in Eco Ardens to really demonstrate this concept, man. Because now I'm with the makeover guys, I'm doing about 70 to 80,000 at this point, right? Just to furnish the house. And now got people knocking on the door already for a fully furnished unit. It's not even done. They're like, the neighbors got a lot of units, man, why must come to me? Nobody wants to put in the money to furnish. They just want to let go, exit. And everybody is devastated because the property didn't double in 5 years' time, which is the very, very wrong concept of investment. So previously, we just did a graph on how property, especially landed properties, right, appreciate about 2 to 5% depending whether it's a good year or bad year, but averagely it's about 2.5 to 3% year-on-year increment. That's the numbers that you will get. That is going to knock off your interest already. And from day one, as I bought the property, I already know my rent is going to cover my installment for a fully furnished unit. That's the game plan, which a lot of property investors or new investors have absolutely no clue. Everybody will be surprised that, I get the keys already, right? Oh yo, say lah. Every month installment 2,008 or 3,002. Wow, kanchong. Then to rent out, right? 3,000, I need to put in 70,000. Then I start debating why I need to put in 70,000, right? So I get extra 1,000 in rental per month. Might as well I just leave it empty. Not true. The difference here will be the impression of wanting to knock off the entire cost of renovation in one tenancy. What if the tenancy goes on for the next 8 to 10 years there? Different tenants lah, but the furnishing still applies, man. All I'm saying is you'll be ambushed into all this situation just because you got no money, you were not prepared, ending up with the narration, property investment cannot one lah. Even if I buy landed, right? Where got make money? And most stories like this comes from people who bought property suka hati. It's not really down to the numbers where this is my game plan, this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to save up, I'm going to know this 3 renovation company, it's going to be this cost, so within the construction period, I better have this amount ready when I get the key so I can get to work immediately. With a fully furnished unit, I get to maximize my competitive edge, maximize my attraction, get the best tenant, and I move on from there. Next deal. But when you buy without a plan, you start thinking only when you reach that moment, too bad already. Unless you got money lah. Unless you have a lot of money or unlimited supply of resources, right? It's fine, man. And I think that's all for this email. Dear Mr. G, I'm so sorry for what happened. But I guess it's too late now. Only own the mistake and move on. Even if it costs you extra 10,000, technically it's just divide by 2, but she don't want to pay. You just pay on her behalf as a farewell gift. Wish her the best and move on. Not worth lingering, not worth having the sticky things, right? No, not worth it, man. The more important thing is how much more can you prepare to lose. So thank you very much for sharing this unfortunate event. For all dear couples, lovey-dovey couples, right, who is thinking about, wow, we should really crystallize our love for each other. The level of affection demands this level of property as a commitment for each other. Bro, sis, chill. Don't lah, please. Don't even get a pet. Last time I kind of suggested to get a pet. That's animal cruelty. Don't, right? Get a labubu or whatsoever. Really. Instead, get one each, right? And for sis, right, sisters out there, get one on your name. That should be every sister's goal moving forward. Because even if you meet the one, right, until halfway not the one anymore, you still have the one to fall back to. This one, right, property won't complain one. Property won't leave you one. Sisters out there all have one. For those who's listening, thank you very much. If you have any more questions regarding real estate, do just email me at taniherng @gmail.com, or you can just DM me on Instagram, iherng, and I will see you guys on the next one. Ciao. When love comes in